What's going on, guys? Today we're going to break down my remix of Christian Vels' Electricity. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the Atmos, right? I took a sample from the original track, chopped it up, looped it, processed the shit out of it, bounced it, and I got this Atmos, which I broke into two different layers, a lower layer and a higher layer. So this lower layer sounds like this, and the higher level sounds like this. And then when you put them all together, you get this nice cohesion. So that's the Atmos, pretty much goes through the whole track. I don't have it going during the second drop. There's too much going on in that second drop, and we'll get into that in a second. Let's add the pluck from the original track and the muted guitar. So this is the intro pluck, and then the muted guitar is here. Okay. And then I've got these background vocals. All right, now just to start off with the intro, I've got just simple claps, hats, some knockers, and some shakers. So let's start with the clap. Very simple clap. I added some reverb to it because if you listen to it while it's dry, it sounds like a cat. So add a little wetness to it, give it some room to breathe. You hear that? Sounds crisp. Same thing with the hi-hats. If you take away the reverb. So let's add some reverb back to that. Nice and wet, just how I like it. Ooh, let me show you the knockers. The claps, the hats, background vocals, and the Atmos. So let's just tie everything in right now. So the effects section in this track is very minimal. Usually I like to make my effects thicker, many layers, wider. I just kept it simple with this one. Usually it's the songs that you put together quickly and that are successful. You know, the tracks that you drag out for weeks and months on end don't usually end up seeing the light of day. I've got a whole hard drive to prove that. So let's go into the leads. I've got this first drop organ in the breakdown, which I love. It's a muted organ, back in the mix. I just love the way it sits in that breakdown. So let me play it for you in a solo. So that's the breakdown, and then it goes into the drop. My favorite sample of the whole track, the saxophone. There's two saxophones in here. One I call a tickle sax, and one I call the sexy sax. I found these samples online from a sample site that shall remain nameless. Chopped up the sample, moved it around, processed it, bounced it, made this loop. We've got the tickle sax that sounds like this. And then we've got the sexy sax that sounds like this. And then in between that, you've got these little guitar riffs. Yeah, so you'll hear that throughout the whole track. So that's the first drop. Nothing too crazy, you know, kind of basic, but does the job. I've got the original vocals from the track. I've got a main vocal that's wet, that's a little wide. I've got a main vocal that's dry and mono. And then I've got some background vocals that are wide as well. I've got this little guitar riff. Yeah, I like that a lot. Just kind of muted. Almost reminds me of Law and Order, right? Almost. So let's go over the bass. The mid bass is a little gritty. This is what it sounds like. And then I've got the lower end, which sounds like this. And bring it all together. Very simple bass line. I made the MIDI pattern pretty quickly. Got it processed and just bounced it out to audio to save CPU. Let's get into the second drop. As any producer worth his salt knows, you always got to change up the second drop to reward the listener for sticking around for your whole track. Second drop, pretty much the same as the first, just a couple different things added in. Christian added a super dope horn in the second drop, so I took that as well and added it in mine. You may have heard it in a couple tech house songs from some famous DJs if you haven't been living under a rock the last 5 years. Who doesn't love a big train horn? I've got a wide layer, a mono layer. This is what the wide layer sounds like. You know, wide, kind of gritty, kind of thin, you know, That's all right, we're gonna layer it. We've got the mid layer with the octave down. So we're gonna, and then we've got the mono layer. Kind of fill it in a little bit. And then let's bring it all together. All right, that's my remix. Very simple, straightforward. Hope you guys liked it. If you like it, go stream it. If you like it even more, download it. Share it with your friends. Sharing is caring.